Yo, what's up with it, y'all? It's JD, Travelsthenix, and I'm back with another quick video. In today's video, I got a little food for thought for y'all. So, I was doing some thinking last night, and just thinking about a lot of the people who I encounter on a day-to-day basis. And what I thought about is, if your ancestors could see you right now, your ancestors, might be looking at you right now for all we know. And what would they think about you? What would they think about your work ethic? What would they think about your mentality? What would they think about your mental toughness? All of those factors. What would your ancestors think about you? Because we know that, every generation has it a little bit easier. I know there's nuance to it. Some things might be a little bit harder right now, but overall, things are easier nowadays than they were 100 years ago. Things are easier for us right now. We live in more quality lives. We live in easier lives than our ancestors was living 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago. So what would your ancestors think about what you turned into? You know what I mean? Because we are a manifestation of our ancestors. Genetics, spirits, all of that. We got all of that in us. So you got to keep that in mind. And, I think right now we probably, not even probably, this is the softest generation of people. This is the softest time period of all time right now. And I just see it manifesting everywhere. Everybody's excuse making, everybody's afraid of hard work, all that. But I just got finished doing a 3-mile run, and I'm about to get some burpee money in real quick. We're gonna continue this conversation. I got about 35 minutes before I gotta get home and make some breakfast. So I'm gonna get as many burpees as possible. So for myself in particular, I could just look one generation back. I could just look at my pops and see everything that my pops has went through. Hold on. Man, Siri, stop. Anyways, y'all, Siri was acting up. But anyways, I could just look one generation back and see what my pops has been through, see what type of work ethic my pops had or has, you know what I mean? And see what type of mental toughness he has and compare it to what I've been through in my life. Of course, my life isn't perfect. I done been through some hardships as well. But my pops grew up in the South, Texas to be exact, segregation, you know what I mean? His entire youth, pretty much. First person in his family to get a college education. And he did that as an adult, went to the military, bounced out of his hometown, little small country town. My pops tell me stories about back in the days when he was picking cotton. You know what I mean? My pops was picking cotton. So he was picking cotton his whole childhood. I never did anything like that. You know what I mean? My childhood, I grew up in Oakland, California, or right around Oakland, California. I was born in Oakland, grew up in the area. But, I grew up in the city. So for me, picking cotton was like, man, you don't even think that type of shit is real. And you got to think back, even a generation or two before him, they had it way harder than he did. And same thing goes on my mom's side of the family. Everything definitely hasn't been sweet on that side of the family either. But for my pops in general speaking, my pops just embodies work ethic. You know what I mean? And that's where I get my work ethic from. And that's where I get my, my mental toughness from. And, just get the job done. And a lot of people just don't have that in them nowadays. And it's just pretty disgusting to me. It's honestly disgusting. I have people come up to me all the time when I'm working out at the park, or I have people email me or shoot me messages on direct messages on Instagram. I ain't even been on Instagram lately, but shoot me messages on Instagram, emails, or whatever it may be. Jay, how I do this? Or even people who I know from back in the day or whatever, they hit me up, they see I done got into great shape and shit like that. And they're like, oh, Jay, how I get a 6-pack? How I do this? How I do that? People at the park, oh man, I see you doing them handstand push-ups. I see you doing muscle-ups. Man, how do you do that? And man, I honestly feel like talking to these people and being like, man, you're never gonna be able to do that in your entire life because you don't have the willpower. You don't have the patience. You don't have the work ethic to do it. And a lot of people just don't have it in them to put the work in to do anything, even if it just comes down to getting a nice physique. People ask me, how do they get a six-pack? It's like, bruh, you're not willing to put the work in to get a six-pack, so you might as well not even ask that question. If you don't want to give up drinking, you don't want to work out an hour, hour and a half every single day, you don't want to control your diet, you don't want to do any of these things, then don't even ask about how to get a six-pack. Don't ask about how to get in shape. Don't hit me up and ask me questions. I'm not telling you in general, in particular, but I'm just saying, it's just, don't even ask anybody. There's no point in even putting that energy out there. I forget what I was listening to. Oh, I was listening to a podcast with Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield yesterday. And Evander Holyfield was talking about when he was a little boy, his boxing coach had explained to him, he was like, you know what a fantasy is? And Evander Holyfield was like, nah, I don't know what a fantasy is. And his boxing coach explained to him, he was like, a fantasy is when somebody says they want something, but they're not willing to put the work in to get it. He was like, now goals, on the other hand, goals are something that somebody might say that they want something and they're willing to put the work in to get it. So are you living in a fantasy land? Or are you living in reality and you have goals? So hold on, let me get this next set of birthdays in real quick. But yeah, I feel a lot of people, they just got fantasies. And it don't necessarily stop at the physical fitness aspect of it. It's not necessarily always when it comes down to health and fitness. It's about money. It's about females. It's about what you want in your life in general. Maybe you want to move someplace. Maybe you want to make $5 million. Maybe you want a bad female. Whatever your thought in your head that you want, are you willing to put the work in for it? Because anything of value, I keep preaching this on my channel, anything of value doesn't come overnight. It's no such thing as a get rich quick scheme. It's no such thing as get healthy in 3 weeks. It's no such thing as get a six-pack in 2 months. None of that shit exists. And that's just the truth. And the thing is once you even get that six-pack, your six-pack it's not something that you just earn and you keep. You got to keep putting the work in for it. Same thing when you get a bad female. You might peel you a bad broad, but guess what? You could lose her if you start, falling off your game. If your game ain't tight, you ain't gonna keep your broad. If you make $5 million and you don't know how to manage your money, you're gonna lose her at $5 million. All of these things come into play. And I just feel like, man, a lot of people nowadays, they got unrealistic expectations on what they deserve in life versus what they're willing to put in the work for, because you deserve whatever you're willing to put the work in for, point blank. If you're not willing to put the work in for something, you don't deserve it. If you're not willing to put the work in and be a boss, to boss your life up, you don't deserve to have the money, you don't deserve to have the looks, you don't deserve to have the females, all these things that everybody seems to be motivated by. So that's another thing you got to realize about or think about when you're talking about all these things. What's your motivation? What's your motivation to get in shape? What's your motivation to have all this money? What's your motivation to have these females or multiple women or whatever, just some bad female or whatever it may be? What's your motivation behind all these things? Because if your motivations ain't right, number one, you're probably not even gonna be able to attain it. But if your motivations ain't right and you are somehow able to attain it, you're not gonna be able to keep it. And for me personally, I try to have that Floyd Mayweather mentality when it comes down to my motivation on getting on top of my game. Floyd Mayweather's motivation is just to be on top of his game. He got all the money, he got all the women, he got all the cars, he got, the flash and everything like that. But Floyd's motivation is not all that shit. That shit is just shit that comes along with the territory for him. For him, his motivation, he got like that king mentality. You know what I mean? When you have that king mentality, that's just par for the course, all that shit. But his motivation is just staying on top. You know what I mean? And I love that. I love that mindset. So we got to keep our mindsets in check. Let me get this next set of burpees in. burpees ain't no joke. But yeah, man, the motivation is one thing you got to keep in check. But man, it all boils down to your work ethic. And it all boils down to what you're willing to do and what type of work you're willing to put in. Another thing was we got to put in that mental and that spiritual work, because if you're not willing to sit still for a minute, then you always need to be stimulated. You can't never be bored. You know what I mean? You're not willing to put the time in to get to know yourself, to figure out what the flaws that you might have as a human being and work on those flaws, then you're not going to be ready for your blessings. Sometimes you need to abstain from sex for 3 to 6 months. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need to abstain from partying for 6 months to a year. Sometimes you need to abstain from processed sugar for 1 to 2 months. Sometimes you need to abstain from eating meat for a year. Sometimes you need to abstain from alcohol for a year. These are all things that I've done in my life. I've done all of those things. I've abstained from a lot of things, and this all goes back to my previous video I just put out about fasting. So fasting is something I wholeheartedly believe in. I believe it's something that everybody should implement in their life. It's just a form of discipline, pretty much. And nowadays we got a lot of people who don't have any discipline. They just want to go out and do whatever. They want to eat whatever, and they want good things to come from that. But nothing comes from people who don't. Nothing good comes for people who don't have any discipline. Let me get another setup. So yeah, man, I'm gonna end the video right here, but that's pretty much what I wanted to chop it up about. Think about what your ancestors might think about if they looked and seen you. I know if my ancestors see me, they'll be proud of what everything manifested into. You know what I mean? We all got the spirit of our ancestors. We obviously have our ancestors' genetics, you know what I mean? But you don't even know, or not you in particular, but a lot of people don't even know what the potential of your ancestors' genetics could be. You know what I mean? This is the potential of my ancestors' genetics to be. Look at that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even doing this shit to brag, but I'm just telling you. I'm in shape. I got work ethic. I'm putting in the work. Don't be soft. You know what I mean? Be mentally tough. And when I mean don't be soft, I'm not talking about no street shit. I'm talking about mentally soft. We live in a super, super soft world right now. And the thing about it is that a lot of people right now who think that they stand for something is getting ready to start cracking. And I see it happening right now. It's a lot of people who are cracking under pressure. And it's just all about going along and fitting in with society, and society telling you to do this. And because society says this is right, you're gonna do it. So, stay true to what you believe in. Whatever you believe in, stay true to it. Don't crack under pressure. If society tell you, you know what I mean, X, Y, and Z is wrong, but you know in your heart that it's right, don't waver, don't crack, don't bend, don't break. Just do what you gotta do. Stay strong, and in the end, you're gonna reap the rewards for it. But anyways, y'all, if you guys found this video insightful, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and leave me a like. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you guys are looking to get in the best shape of your life, hit my website up, book a free consultation with me. That's Travelsthenix.com. Go to the free consultation page. You can book a consultation with me tomorrow if you'd like. We can go ahead and get that in, create that blueprint to get you in the best shape of your entire life. It's all about mind, body, and soul. You know what I mean? It's all about that mind, body, and soul. You want to get your mind, body, and your soul right. And for me personally, when it comes down to the people who I associate with, if they mind, body, and soul ain't right, I'm not really trying to be around them. Not for extended periods of time. But anyways, y'all, hope everybody's having a great day. Hope this message finds you well. If you guys agree, or if you guys have anything to add to it, that is, go ahead and leave that in the comment section. If you guys disagree with my message, go ahead and leave that in the comment section as well. Again, I hope everybody's having a great day. Stay healthy, you know what I mean? Stay in good spirits, stay positive, and stay mentally tough. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.